Right, I'm back. We're going to do 2 videos today. Somebody said to me the other day, when I was, obviously my job is stereos, I was recommending product to them, and they said sometimes they go onto YouTube and look at stuff online to get reviews on products, and they couldn't find any reviews or information on this stereo. So I'm going to do a review for you, roughly. This is a Pioneer SPH DA230 DAB. This is a Mechless unit, and by that I mean it doesn't have a CD player. It's kind of more of a digital based unit and inputs, so USB, Bluetooth, you know, so on and so forth, auxiliary, DAB, CarPlay, Android Auto. It's got it all in it. It's one of my favorite units because it pretty much does everything my really expensive sat-navs do, but without the sat-nav in it. But obviously you can use your CarPlay or your Android Auto, and you'll get Google Maps for nothing. And if you've got the new upgrade, you get the TomTom maps on Apple. So we're going to do a bit of an unboxing video on this Pioneer because lots of people I sell to don't see any information on it. Although it's a good unit, nobody really talks about it. So we're going to do an unboxing video. So when you open the box, first off, you've got release keys, countersunk rough cut screws, and coarse thread screws, and dome head coarse thread screws. These are for fitting into the side of the stereo. If you're fitting a stereo, you do not put self-tappers in. They must be a maximum size, I think, of 6 or 8 mil. Otherwise you'll go through the internals, and they supply you with these. So that's one thing. Next is a microphone with the Pioneer plug. They are different sizes. I think this is a 2.5 mil jack. Comes with a clip-on kind of visor mount, or you can unclip it from the visor mount, and it comes with a little sticky pad, and you can actually stick it to the headliner. It's a lot neater if it's stuck because it's not hanging down from the roof with this big hook. A power lead, USB, a CD manual, and paper instructions. First off, we'll start with the power cord. This is a factory standard ISO. It also has this green fly lead. Lots of people always ask, what do you do with this? Now, it says on it, it's the handbrake earth. Now, what that is for is if you have a screen that shows a visual or a picture, it's illegal other than mapping and driving aids to be watching films or, you know, like videos while you're driving. It's considered a distraction. This handbrake cable, by law, is supposed to go to your handbrake switch, obviously on the handbrake, and that tells the car when the vehicle's in park, and then it will show you a picture on the dash. If you put some films on or a DVD in, not this one obviously because it's Mechless, but if you put a film on and it doesn't show because it can't see the handbrake cable, it's because this is not earthed out. You do this at your own risk. You take the green wire. You don't need all of this extra slack. You take the green wire halfway down the black wire, you cut these two and you join them together. Then the unit will work all the time. But bearing in mind, if you're dumb enough to drive around watching a video and you kill somebody, your fault. So that's the power cable. We'll just get the unit out of the box. So we take the unit out of its protective casing. It comes in like this little slip bag. And then we have our Pioneer unit. One thing I really, really wish Pioneer would do is, if you watch this, guys, I hope you do, stop sticking stuff to the front of the stereos. Whenever you remove these labels, they always leave, no matter how careful you are. I go nice and slowly. You end up with marks. I don't believe it. Did I really just take that off without a mark? I did. The ones I've done in the past, they always leave a mark here, right? And you have to get some kind of cleaner to get rid of it. And it's, you know, please don't stick stuff to the front of these radios. So we take off the protective covering on the buttons. We have the standard 110mm cage. Obviously the keys that we've got go in here to release these tabs, and you can get the cage out if you want to. And then you use your screws. Actually, let's do that because then I can show you where the screws go. Pop out a key a second. Let's fold these tabs out. So if you're using some kind of Jap car, you probably won't need the cage, or if you get a fascia kit on your specific dash for a radio that's kind of built in, that's bigger than a double DIN, you'll need some kind of adapter, but they usually come with smaller 100mm cages that will sit directly around this cage. They don't have a bit of a gap. You see all these screw locations on here, that's for these shorter screws to lock it in place. So if it's a Jap car, they usually come with cages down the side that will hold the radio in, and then you'll get your bits and bobs around them. Some have need for the fascia, some don't, so you can obviously poke that straight through a double DIN hole. Most of my Jap stuff, like the Chaser, uses it like that, not with this surround. Only if you're using the standard cage, use the surround. So first off, let's get our cables. Now if you are installing one of these Pioneers, for God's sakes, cut this thing off and get rid of it. Use a proper connection like a soldering iron or a bullet connector or a butt connector, something proper. Don't use the chocolate locks, they're just horrible. So we'll get rid of that. Now for purposes of just showing you on this video, green cable halfway down the black, so I've cut it shorter so I've not got loads and loads and loads of cable behind the dash. Then what we'll basically do, I would normally twist that round there and then solder, tape, good to go. As it's an earth, it's not going to short out at the minute, so we're going to use it like this. On the back of this stereo itself, we've got various bits and bobs. So we've got reversing camera for the rear. We've got the option of a front auxiliary camera or front visual input. You've got an aux input at the bottom. This is your DAB aerial, your normal FM aerial. Then you've got FM. You've got RCA output for the sub at the bottom, RCA output for the rear in the middle, and then front output at the top. You've got a data lead here to add on extras from Pioneer, like you could add a navigation to this unit and it will work through that kind of data bus cable. You've got your power cable here. This is where the power plug's going to go in. A 10 amp fuse, a 3.5mm jack auxiliary input. This supplied USB extension cable goes in here. And then at the top there, you've got the microphone input on the left, which is a small 2.5mm jack. And then you've got your normal steering control or wired remote control harness to activate the car steering control. So if you've got a CAN bus reader, that's where the box will go into, as long as it's set up right. You either get one specifically for Pioneer or you'll get one for a universal, and you've got to make sure that the lead is accepted into Pioneer's language. Otherwise that won't work. So for now, we're just going to get our Pioneer plug. I'll just show you. It only goes in one way because of that little tab on the side there. That's going to cover the fuse and stop the fuse falling out under vibration. Push him home, we get a nice click. Now I already have, we'll put this on here so you can see it. I already have an ISOs hooked up to my bench. We're not going to get any sound, but we are going to get picture. So we'll plug in this for now. Stop the glare on the screen. Right. We're all plugged in. Yeah. So the Pioneer is now going to start up. A couple of things we're going to note first off. Do you know what? I'm not going to connect up a DAB aerial because we're going to get copyrighted for music playing anyway, so I'm not going to do that. So we're going to have no sound. Connecting your phone's lead into this extension lead and then into the back of the radio will give you, once you've run through the software, once you've run through the updates and the acceptance into driving with maps, and that you're responsible for your car's position on the road, things like that, the safety stuff, it will give you then the access to CarPlay and Android Auto, whether your phone's an Android or whether it's an Apple phone. Many people ask me to plug in their specific charger straight into the back of the stereo and then run that lead out for their glove box or whatever for their phone. Yes, you can do that, but the problem is if you restrict, let's say for example you've got an iPhone and you put all this in your car and it takes you hours to fit, and you only run the Apple Lightning lead to the glove box, and then you suddenly get a Samsung or something, you're kind of stuffed. Always run the extension cable, the USB extension cable, into the glove box or wherever, because then you can plug in any device and USB sticks and films and stuff like that, and it will play. So for now we're just going to go through the setup of this. So it gives us a choice of what languages we're going to pick. Can you see that okay there? Let me just make sure I lift you up a bit so you're not getting glare. There we go. So it asks us to choose a language. So once you've selected a language, we've just pressed that. and then it asks us for the radio. Do we want to go network mode or do we want to go standard mode? Can you see that okay there? There we go. So we are just going to go standard mode, so we'll leave it on standard and we just press OK. And then it says, does the digital antenna require power? Well, we're going to go yes. If there was a DAB aerial onto it, that would now be taking power. So we press OK. Is that better? There we go. You see the radio. So it gives us some options. Now, in the setup, if we press this cog up here, you've got various options down the side. You've got, there we go. You've got spanner and screwdriver, which is kind of like the unit settings. You've got picture settings, obviously it's an easel. Then you've got speaker settings, it looks like a speaker. You've got film settings, it looks like a film reel, and then you've got Bluetooth settings at the bottom. I really like this unit because of the simplicity of it. I say it does everything that an expensive unit does, but it doesn't carry the price tag. So if you want a really good unit, get the 230, it's actually okay. So if you want settings, you can go in here. The touchscreen works really well. You can switch your, driving position on the CarPlay, so your home screen is this side or this side, depending on which side of the road you drive on. You've got various speaker settings, various picture settings. You can do loads with this unit, different themes, different colors. It does all sorts. Little funky backgrounds. You can put like a graphic EQ on there that dances around with music. You can change your illumination, rainbow if you want to. It's super, super cool. And it's nice and easy to use. So if you want out of an option, you just press the X. If you want into an option, you obviously just touch whichever mode you want to go. If we went into there and we didn't want to be into there, you've got an up arrow just there. You can just press the return and it will take you back page by page. If you fail to do that, or you get lost or you get confused with it, just press the home key, these 4 buttons in the middle, and it will take you right back to the start. This is kind of like our quick menu. And over here will be your smartphone. So if you've got a smartphone plugged into it, whether it's Apple or Android, you'll get the Android Auto symbol at the top, or you'll get the CarPlay symbol at the top. So you can touch on that bit and it'll access your phone remotely through the unit. If not, you've got Spotify, Bluetooth, normal radio in silver. This is like your FM, and then your digital radio over here. We have nothing plugged into it because I'm going to get copyrighted for music otherwise. We have some more buttons across the bottom. You've got volume up and volume down. Then you've got a screen switch on here. So you can go, if you were watching like a navigation screen on Google here, you can go between the fast switch screen, which would take you to the digital radio screen. So you could change your station, press it again and go back to the mapping. Home button, screen off. So if you wanted to turn the screen off completely at night, you can shut down like a dimmer and things like that. You've got a backup and you've got a mic function. It's a very simple unit to use. For want of sounding like an ageist, I do get a lot of old people buying this unit that are worried by technology, and within minutes they're using it. So if you want a really nice head unit, the Pioneer SPDA 230, it's good.